A beautiful morning to you listeners out there, and a happy new month to you all. It's Wednesday, the 1st of July 2026, and I am Inioluwa Adekoya, and you're live on iPower 102.7 FM. You're welcome to the program In the Papers, where we open the national dailies together. This morning, we will review and preview the top newspaper headlines from the Punch newspaper, the Herb newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. We will talk about politics, we'll talk about the economy, we'll talk about security, and everything that matters to you in the papers this morning. My name, like I said earlier, is Inioluwa Adekoya. So stay locked in, grab your tea, and turn on the radio, the volume of your radio set. Let's leap through the papers this morning. Yes, a very warm welcome back to the program In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning, from the Herb newspaper, Ayedatiwa urges court members to leave lasting impact. Yes, and now moving to Osun State. Uni Osun condemns the alleged soldiers' sexual assault on students. And now moving to national matters, still talking headlines. Trump demands immediate cut in U.S. petrol prices. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, federal government to demand compensation for abandoned Nigerian business properties in South Africa. Yes, still on the Herb newspaper, Showore gets fresh 200 million naira bail. Defense opens July 6th. Still talking headlines, Stat Fund pushes for Nigerians' first Lassa fever vaccine. And now quickly, I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper. Blackout in Lagos as flood submerges transmission substations. Still on the Daily Post newspaper, notorious bandit Auta Yankuzo posts cash obtained from kidnap ransom on TikTok. Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, talking NYSC reforms. Shelsani kicks against civilian DG, calls for tougher military training. And still talking xenophobia on the Daily Post newspaper, third batch of evacuated Nigerians arrive Lagos. And now to the Punch newspaper. World Bank approves $1.25 billion Nigerian loan despite backlash. And now moving to education matters. ASU threatens strike over 2025 agreement. Yeah, still taking headlines from the Punch newspaper. Federal government to scrap GSS structure over 2 to 20 million dropouts. Still on the Punch newspaper, El-Rufai loses bail bid, gets access to medical care. And now to the Nation's newspaper. Oyedele calls for special tribunal for commercial cases. Finally, on the Nation's newspaper, talking headlines, Akpabio, Barao, Abdulrazak, Uzodinma, Yero on APC list. Yes, and with that, I would go on another short break. When I get back, I'll give you more news making rounds in the papers this morning. The program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM, and we will be right back. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I said earlier, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning from the Old newspaper, talking education. Ayedatiwa urges court members to leave lasting impact. And now to the details. Ondo State Governor Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa has urged members of the 2026 Batch B Stream 1 of the National Youth Service Corps to make meaningful contributions to their host communities by rendering selfless service and initiating projects that will leave lasting legacies. The governor message was delivered by the Ondo State NYSC coordinator, Mrs. Kuburat Bakare, during the closing ceremony of the 2026 Batch B Stream 1 orientation course held at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp in Ikare Akoko. Adekoya said the orientation program had prepared the court members with essential values including patriotism, discipline, leadership, teamwork, and national unity, urging them to apply the lessons throughout the service year. He further encouraged the court members to take the community development service seriously by identifying the needs of their host communities and implementing projects capable of making lasting difference. According to him, the true essence of national service lies in the positive impact court members make on the lives of the people they serve. The governor also advised them to uphold integrity, excellence, and patriotism while respecting the culture and traditions of their host communities and avoid involvement in local politics and traditional disputes. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Adekoya urges court members to leave lasting impact. And now moving to Osun State, Osun condemns alleged soldiers' sexual assault on students. And now to the details. Tension gripped Osogbo, the Osun State capital, as hundreds of students of Osun State University, Osun, led by the institution's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Odunwayo Clement Adeboboye, staged a peaceful protest over the alleged invasion of students' hostel by newly recruited personnel of the Nigerian Army. The protest, which attracted students from different faculties and departments, brought vehicular movement to a standstill along major roads leading to the university community, as demonstrators demanded justice for victims of what they described as a horrifying attack on innocent students, carrying placards with inscriptions such as "Justice for Osun students," "Stop violence against our students," "Our hostel should be safe," and "No one is above the law," among others. The protesters marched through the parts of Osogbo while calling on the federal government, the military authorities, and security agencies to ensure that anyone found culpable is prosecuted. The demonstration followed allegations that newly recruited army personnel believed to be undergoing training at the Depot Nigerian Army, Osogbo, invaded several private-owned students' hostel in the Okebale area, where they allegedly assaulted students, destroyed property, robbed occupants, and sexually assaulted some female students. The incident has generated widespread outrage across Osun State and beyond, with parents, civil society organizations, student leaders, women rights groups, and residents demanding a transparent investigation and justice for the victims. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Osun condemns alleged soldiers' sexual assault on students. And now to international matters. Trump demands immediate cut in U.S. petrol prices. And now to the details. United States President Donald Trump has, for the second time in 2 weeks, urged petrol retailers to reduce pump price. Trump made the call in a post on his Truth Social platform. The U.S. president said petrol prices remain too high, considering that crude oil is trading at about $68 per barrel. He warned retailers that Trump retailers should heed to his call and do what is right for the American people. He further warned that retailers who fail to lower their prices can face big problems. Trump also urged retailers to target the pump price of about $2.50 per gallon, 3,785 liters. He wrote, and I quote, "Gasoline retailers must get their price down immediately. They're too high considering that oil is now $68 per barrel and heading south. The retailers must quickly react to this statement and do what they know is right. Drop your price for our great American people. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Trump demands immediate cut in U.S. petrol prices. Yeah, still on the Herb newspaper, federal government to demand compensation for abandoned Nigerian businesses' property in South Africa. And now to the details. Nigerian Acting High Commissioner to South Africa, Alexander Ajayi, has said the federal government will seek compensation for businesses and properties abandoned by Nigerians returning from South Africa under voluntary evacuation program. Ajayi disclosed this recently during an appearance on Channels Television The Morning Brief, as another batch of Nigerians were expected to arrive in Lagos aboard an evacuation flight organized by the federal government. He said those being repatriated voluntarily opted to return home ahead of planned anti-immigrant protests, adding that the government had already begun documenting the businesses and properties left behind. Just 3 days ago, the South African Deputy Minister of Finance and I discussed this issue. We agreed that our people who are returning should begin documenting what they are leaving behind. That was the message we gave yesterday to those due to arrive in Lagos. Before they departed, I asked them to accurately document everything they were leaving behind. Take up the matter with South African government. That is the next step we are going to take. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Federal Government to demand compensation for abandoned Nigerian businesses' property in South Africa. Yeah, still on the Herb newspaper, Sowore gets fresh 200 million naira bail. Defense opens July 6th. And now to the details. A federal high court in Abuja has A federal high court in Abuja admitted activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore to fresh bail in the sum of 200 million naira weeks after revoking his earlier bail for failing to appear for trial. Justice Muhammad Umar, in a ruling, directed Sowore to provide two sureties before the bail could take effect. One of the sureties must be a traditional ruler from his community, while the second must own landed property within the Federal Capital Territory. The judge also ordered the defendant to deposit his international passport with the court registrar pending the determination of the case. After granting the application, Justice Umar released Sowore to his lawyers and adjourned further proceedings to Monday, the 6th of July, when the defendant is expected to open his defense. Sowore is being prosecuted by the Department of State Service on allegations bordering on cybercrime following social media posts in which he allegedly referred to President Bola Tinubu as a criminal. He has denied the allegation and pleaded not guilty. The court revoked Showore's bail on the 16th of June and issued a bench warrant for his arrest after he failed to appear in court. Sowore explained that he was unable to attend the proceedings because of prior engagement in Lagos and sought an adjournment. However, the prosecution, led by Mr. Akinlolu Kehinde SAN, opposed the request and urged the court to proceed with the trial. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Herb newspaper with the headline, Sowore gets fresh 200 million naira bail. Defense opens July 6th. And now to health matters. State Fund pushes for Nigerian first Lassa fever vaccine, and that is coming from the Old newspaper. And now to the details. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, Sonny Echono, has challenged Nigerian scientists to identify the fastest pathway to developing the country's first Lassa fever vaccine. Describing the recurrent disease, Echono gave the charge in Abuja during the presentation of the findings of TED Fund-sponsored mega research project in Lassa fever conducted by the Federal University of Health Sciences, Otukpo. Speaking after receiving the findings, Echono said the research had reinforced the need of Nigeria to move beyond generating scientific evidence to developing practical intervention that directly improve the lives of citizens. He further urged the research team to prioritize vaccine development, stressing that immunization remains the most effective strategy for controlling infectious disease. He said, and I quote, "What is the shortest route to developing a vaccine? How can we ensure that the burden on our people is reduced? Every year, thousands of Nigerians die from Lassa fever. How can we reduce this burden?" If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, TED Fund pushes for Nigerian first Lassa fever vaccine. Yes, now I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper talking xenophobia. Third batch of evacuated Nigerians arrive Lagos. And now to the details. The third batch of Nigerians evacuated from South Africa has arrived in Lagos as part of the federal government ongoing evacuation program. The Air Peace flight carrying about 271 evacuees landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport shortly before 11 a.m. yesterday. Recall that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, said the third batch of Nigerians evacuated from South Africa would arrive in Lagos with 271 returnees on board. The evacuation followed the June 30th deadline declared by vigilante groups and other organizations demanding the departure of undocumented migrants from South Africa. In a nationwide address, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa acknowledged public concerns about illegal immigration, but warned that protests must remain peaceful and within the confines of the law. He further cautioned against violence, intimidation, vandalism, and attack on foreign nationals, insisting that immigration enforcement remains the responsibility of the government. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Xenophobia, third batch of evacuated Nigerians arrive Lagos." Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper talking NYSC reform, shows Sani kicks against civilian DG, call for tougher military training. And now to the details. The former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani has said that the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) should be a soldier. Sani said that the element of military training should not be removed from the NYSC, even though reforms are good. Posting recently on his ex-handle, the former lawmaker said, and I quote, "Reforming the NYSC is a good idea, but we must not discard the element of military training. The DG of the NYSC should remain a soldier. In a nation facing serious security challenges, there is need for even more rigorous military training at this material time." This follows as President Bola Tinubu gave his approval for major overhaul of the NYSC, bringing in big changes meant to update the program, make life better for the participant, and match the program with today's national development plans. As part of the reforms, the NYSC will now be run by civilians, while the military will still provide security for court members throughout the country. The president told the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, to change the NYSC Act and related rules to match the approved update and make sure they are carried out right away. The changes involve starting a new way to call people using technology, a system that carefully manages risk and keeps court members safe, and a new 6-week training program that focuses more on leadership, starting your own business using digital tools, and specific career paths. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, NYSC reforms, Shehu Sani kicks against civilian DG, calls for tougher military training. Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, now moving to Lagos State. Blackout in Lagos as flood submerges transmission substations. And now to the details. Some parts of Lagos State have been plunged into blackout following the unfortunate flooding in the state. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in a statement issued recently by its Public Affairs General Manager Ndidi Mba, declared force majeure on the Oworoshoki 33 kV and Lekki 330/132 kV transmission substations as a result of flooding caused by continuous rainfall in Lagos. TCN lamented that the Oworoshoki 13333 kV transmission substation is totally out of service, stating that the flood affected 2 power transformers. The company, however, assured that normalcy may soon be restored, saying efforts are ongoing to evacuate the water. Our engineers are working, doing everything possible to evacuate the flood to enable them to test the transformers for restoration. And if that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Blackout in Lagos as flood submerges transmission substations. Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, notorious bandit Altai Yankuzo post cash obtained from kidnap ransom on TikTok. And now to the details. A notorious bandit identified as Altai Yankuzo has reportedly shared a photo on TikTok showing a large sum of cash allegedly obtained from kidnap ransom payment. The claim was made by conflict journalist Bakastan in a post on X recently. According to Bakastan, the image was uploaded to Yankuzo's TikTok account on Tuesday. It says Bakastan wrote in our quote, bandits TikToker Altai Yankuzo has posted a ransom payment on his account yesterday. The picture appears to be from previous payment, as the ground looks dry to be of recent days. Bagastin, who is known for reporting conflict and insecurity in the Nigerian northwest, suggested that while the image was recently posted, it may have been taken during an earlier ransom payment. The development comes amid growing concerns over the activities of armed bandit groups in such concerns about the worsening security situation in Nigeria. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Notorious Bandits outside Yankuzo post cash obtained from kidnap ransom on TikTok. Yes, the program is still in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. The time has come for callers and listeners interested in any of the headlines read out to you to call in for comments and contributions to any of the news that piques your interest. And before we call in, we will go on a short break. When I get back, we will open the phone lines and I will dish out more headlines and more news making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I said earlier, the program you're onto is in the papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. And now quickly on the Punch newspaper, talking xenophobia, Nigerian embassy packed 269 return as South Africa protest rise. And now to the details. The federal government has assured Nigerians still residing in South Africa of their safety, even as fresh concerns over xenophobic tensions and renewed anti-immigrant protests continue to trigger call for stronger diplomatic action. This comes after Nigerians reportedly stormed the country's embassy in Pretoria. A xenophobic tension escalated while another batch of 269 Nigerians evacuated from South Africa arrived arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, yesterday aboard an Air Peace flight from Johannesburg at about 10:48 a.m., marking the second government-coordinated evacuation exercise in recent weeks. Nigerian businessman popularly known as Big Joe was reportedly shot and killed by unidentified gunmen on Sunday outside his shop in Witbank, Mpumalanga province, through local police, although local police have not announced the cause of his death. Thousands of locals marched in major cities across South Africa on Tuesday, calling for the removal of undocumented migrants from the country. Police officers, supported by private security personnel, were deployed amid concerns that demonstration could turn violent. Anti-migrant group has set Tuesday as the deadline for undocumented foreigners to leave. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Xenophobia Nigerian Embassy packed 269 return as South Africa protest rises. Yes, I said before we went on that short break that the phone lines will be officially open. And now the phone lines are officially open for comments and contributions as regards any of the headline that piques your interest. The number to call is 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. Yes, and I am not alone on the program this morning. I have my in-house political analyst to throw 1 or 2 cents to the conversations making rounds in the papers this morning. A beautiful morning to you, Akin Adebayo.
Good morning this morning, Inioluwa.
Yes, it's nice to have you on the program again.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, and now straight to business, where we've got this on the Punch newspaper talking about xenophobia. A lot has been going on. Some Nigerians were evacuated yesterday, and there was also a protest yesterday at Pretoria. And before then, on Sunday, a Nigerian man was shot dead. So, what is your take on all this that is going on, the xenophobic attacks and South Africa as a whole, and the Nigerians, and a whole lot that is going on in South Africa? What do you think about this?
Thank you very, very much. There's an other in Yoruba that goes us that your jaw iregun, nothing shirere. It simply means that you deliberately render favor or assistance so that you can use as a point in future discussion, particularly when that person becomes ungrateful. That's the meaning of that. So that I just said in Yoruba. Now, when it comes to issue of this xenophobic attack, I think I would rather advise the South Africans to change it from xenophobic attack to Xeno-Africa attack. Because right there in that same South Africa, it's not of just the African descent that are there.
Yeah.
We have Americans there. We have the British there. We have all the, white persons there. Why is it that the attack is only based on their fellow African? And the most honest thing is this. Those somewhat people that actually enslaved them during the apartheid period, that their fellow African countries were the one coming to their rescue, advocated seriously at every international engagement. Is it at the United Nations? Is it at the ECOWAS? Just name it. And actually pushed to the extent that in the year 1994, South Africa gained our independence. It's so unfortunate that it's those same African descent that these South Africans are now attacking. Why? Now they begin to spring up, all manner of highly inflammable excuses regarding this attack. That's why I'm now saying that so far the people that are in South Africa are not just fellow Africans. Yes. We have British there, we have Americans there, we have the Portuguese there, we have the Spanish there. Why can't they tell those people to equally live? So to me, that should change the nomenclature from xenophobic to Xeno-Africa attack. So they are attacking their fellow Africans, so it can be well spelled out. That is by the way. Secondly, this issue of xenophobic did not just start overnight. It did not. Now, it became more pronounced, particularly between the period of when Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, actually campaigned on the mantra of making sure that the job that is being occupied by immigrants is taken over back to the South Africans. How did the immigrants came from their own country and begin to do their jobs? I mean, you see, so far you refuse to address the major issue confronting these issues of xenophobic attack. It will continue. And what is it? The South Africans are just being lazy. The South Africans want to be spoon-fed. Now, you now see our Nigerians going there, starting a particular business. By the time the business begins to progress, they begin to get jealous. That's what the problem is. And of course, they equally raise the issue of maybe other African countries, maybe snatching their wives and what have you, or that given the case may be. What led to that? Which woman wants to suffer? By the time you are dating a South African and probably is still not to be productive, and you say another African, for crying out loud, the only difference there is just the accent. We have the same color, we have the same physique. I mean, just name it.
So talking about this laziness, I remember watching a video where they barged into an office. I think they were immigrants seated and they were doing their work, and they were telling the owner of the organization that the man should employ them as regardless of whatever qualification they had, that they must be employed.
You can imagine. That's what I'm talking about. So that has been the major crux of the whole problem. Fine, now they've the deadline expired yesterday. They've asked their fellow Africans to leave, and I really want to appreciate the Nigerian government at least for responding in time. And my appreciation only goes to Enyema, this LP CEO. He was the one that actually went when that issue arose some years back to actually evacuate Nigeria and then free of charge. So I call what commend the man. I mean now, but of course, Nigeria needs to take a more stiff measures against this xenophobic attack. If I'm not mistaken, you do know that majority of the South African companies that are thriving in Nigeria failed in South Africa. Now they now come down here, we are not taking over their businesses. Rather, we are patronizing them more. I don't want to start mentioning South African established that are well pronounced. That hardly will you get to a particular household, and you won't see, Nigerians, maybe either Nigerian or but are based in Nigeria here, making use of the services of South African companies. Is it telecommunication? Is it just name it. And here we are not complaining. Here we are not advocating that maybe they should leave. You understand? And that's why I want to commend the president recently. Do you realize that all the SMSs, maybe you want to borrow data, you want to borrow airtime, you want to borrow this and stuff like that, is being run by a company in South Africa and is not being taxed. These are just transactions. You understand? So there's no way it can be traced. It has not been taxed. That's why you see, at times that is why I continue to commend the senator representing Edo Central, person of Adam Shomole. He actually advocated that so far these people are telling us to leave, that we operate their own job, then they should not nationalize their own company back here in Nigeria. It may seem somehow, but that is the way forward. If that is the only means by which they can have a brain reset, so be it. But it's good that they are doing this now. And of course, it's also a pointer to the fact that the Nigerian government needs to do more. Making sure that they put in place infrastructures, making sure that there are job and business opportunities, encouraging entrepreneurship, so that there won't be need for Nigerians traveling, scattering all over the world. You see, it's as a result of maybe what we are experiencing back here. That is just some of them deeming fit to actually go for greener pasture. What I'm talking about here. So, in America, in the US, if not 90% of Americans don't leave America. You know why? The government has made provision for virtually everything they need there.
Is in place.
Even and you know what? There's another uprising now. It's still in the pipeline, still in the process, and that is in Britain. Now, a particular guy is campaigning on the mantra of MAGA, the one Donald Trump used in the United States, that brought about the IC, what have you, that you've just run up to somebody and judge the person and maybe deport. ICE, ICE. Now, a particular guy in Britain now, that want to control prime minister, or as case may be, is campaigning on that mantra now. That the very minute he emerges as UK prime minister, that you make sure that he change maybe immigrant adult, you go to adopt the Donald Trump, kind of campaign strategy then. It's going to be a serious problem. Do you know the number of Nigerians that are equally there? These are the serious issues. So what I'm just saying, you see, no matter how much we try to romance this discussion, it still be used on the Nigerian government to making sure that they are able to create an enabling environment, making sure that we have good infrastructure, particularly the issue of electricity. If today we have stable electricity, I can assure you, this idea of running from one country to another pasture will be reduced. If today there are loan facilities that are, soft loan facilities, I can assure you, people will accept the loan. Nigerians, we are not lazy. We are hardworking. So to me, the ball still comes back to the table of the Nigerian government in making sure that they do put in place structures to make sure that our people, our teeming youth, are gainfully employed, or maybe by the time they embark on any entrepreneurship and venture, it's become successful. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Akin Adebayo. Yes, the phone lines are still open, 0816-552-4699 for comments and reactions to any of the news read to you and any of the discussion that piques your interest. Yes, moving to the old newspaper on this one, we've got on Osun State, as Uni Osun has allegedly condemned the soldiers' sexual assault on students. They said that there was a protest in Osun State where the students came out because there was an incident. The newly admitted army personnel believed to be undergoing training around the Depot Nigerian Army area. They invaded private-owned hostels, students' hostels, and they stole from them. They destroyed properties. They robbed the occupants, and they sexually assaulted some female students. Now, this to me is wrong on all counts. But I just want to know what you think about this.
Thank you very, very much. You see, that is why at times I get pissed with our men in uniform. It's like they feel intoxicated and they quickly forget the real reason why they wear that uniform. The uniform they're putting on is to protect the right, the integrity, lives and property of the citizens, and not to use to intimidate them. I mean, you can imagine. We're talking about an institution that you're just integrated in the southwest. Now, can they do such similar thing in the northern part of Nigeria? They can't. Can they attempt such thing in southeast? They can't. You see, this idea of, you can cut me anywhere. The most peaceful place, the most peaceful region in Nigeria is the southwest. An average military or uniform personnel, either military or paramilitary, do normally have a jolly ride, a smooth ride whenever they're in the southwest. And that is why they are beginning to abuse such privileges. I begin to imagine, how could you, that you actually sworn to protect life and properties. You are not one that now went there to invade the school, to the sort of you raping them. Can they rape in northern Nigeria where Boko Haram, Iswap and Lakorawas are? Can they do such madness? These are the things. So to me, I think there's really need to be brought to book those people that are actually involved, and very easy to get them. I can assure you, if only the decision is ready and the government of Osun is ready to actually take it upon itself in making sure that those culprits are brought to book. How could you invade private hostel to go and do what there? Are you harassed? What happened? Even if you are harassed, even if you are insulted, I think the next way to report at the appropriate quarters. Thank God that those people, they are actually students of Uni Osun. Can't you go there and make reports? And the school for the school to take necessary punitive measures in checking such things. All they now do is to go and invade them. How can you invade, a man in uniform with gun? You invade a civilian student for that matter. This is gross abuse of fundamental human rights. If such should happen in the United States, I wonder what would be happening by now. They would have been rounded up and cut martialed. So what I'm talking about here. So I think Osun State government and this institution on its own part needs to do due diligence, making sure they carry out a kind of personal investigation and make sure that they prosecute these people, because if it is not checked now, I can assure you that it's the pattern. So it needs to be checked immediately and the stop must be brought to it. Because if they're not checked, I can assure you that is how so far they did it and nothing happened. Trust the Nigerian system. They started leveraging on it, and those female students dwindled in one way or the other. So I think the state government and the school institution, the institution itself needs to take this issue up seriously. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Moving on to the Daily Post newspaper, where we've got this on the flood. I'm sure it has been going round back to back. I've been seeing videos, I've been seeing posts of different kind of people posting about the floods in Lagos, and now it is beginning to affect the transmission of substations, and it has affected a lot of things, goods, property, casualties, lives. It has even taken lives. And I watched a video where during the flood, a girl, a small child, was being dragged inside. She was inside the POS, and the thing had collapsed, but she was being dragged by the flood. So it has affected a whole lot, and I'm sure that it is detrimental to Lagosians and Lagos State as a whole. What do you think are the measures that could be taken? Because I remember that NIMET came out with a warning at the beginning of, I would say at the beginning of this year, as regards the flood, and mentioned some states in which it were going to be affected. What do you think are steps that Lagos State government can take as regards flooding and flood as a whole?
Thank you very, very much. Number one, we must understand how nature works. Nature is always very peaceful if you don't disrupt it.
Okay.
The very minute you start tampering with the true nature of nature, let me put it that way, then you should expect a reprisal, effect of it. Now, do you know the rate at which houses, these waterways are being chased back in Lagos? All those islands and what have you, they are being sandfilled, and those water, wherever there is heavy rainfall, which water we always find its way. That is one. Secondly, you know that people now, this idea of building houses on waterways, it's another major issue. And I begin to imagine who approved those structures. Didn't those people pass through the necessary, ministries for the approval of maybe their plans or the structures? These are the things. And aside that, the rate at which people equally pour debts in gutters, waterways is another serious. You know that in Ghana, President Mahama came out to say that, of course, they are aware of this thing, but that there was nothing they could do about it. He actually confessed to it. He now said people should stop building houses on waterways and equally pouring refuse on the gutters and waterways as well. So what is happening now is not just in Lagos. Should I shock you? It is happening all over the West African communities. Yeah. Ghana is complaining, Cote d'Ivoire is complaining, Togo is complaining, Benin is complaining about the shoddy waterways. And more will still come because we are just getting into the depth of serious heavy rainfall now. And Mama actually said that they were not ready for that 14. I've forgotten how I measured it. You understand? These are the things. But of course, what should be done? I think it is, you see, from this experience now, if NIMET should give instruction next year, I want to believe that people will not adhere to it, because action. I don't think it has been this terrible. For the past 3 days, we have been battling with this issue now. Do you know how many vehicles that have been destroyed, damaged, houses submerged? Do you know, if I watched a particular video clip, a particular store was completely pulled down, and the whole goods in that store was being, drifted away with, in the flood. So, as a matter of fact, if the government is trying to do their best in making sure that they clear the waterways, they should probably take it a step further by demolishing buildings on the waterways as well. And the citizens as well should make sure that they don't pour dirty on the waterways. And rather, environmental agencies as well should make sure that they go to houses and start making arrests of any person that does not have the refuse dump, carriers. They should be arrested. Look, not until we take this issue of refuse dump and building on waterways seriously, this issue will continue to repeat itself. And like Avela said, it is what you give to nature that nature will give back to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that, Akin Adebayo. We hope when we call you again next time, you will be sure to hear us.
Sure, I will be around.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, and our time is fast spent on the program this morning. The program is in the papers if you're just joining on iPower 102.7 FM. And the time has come for us to call it a wrap on today's edition. I hope this review has kept you informed of conversations making rounds